Here we have the current stock market update for Tesla Incorporated, stock ticker TSLA. Before we begin, if you find this educational material to be helpful in your trading, please remember to click the like and subscribe buttons so that other traders will be able to find this information more easily on the platform. So here we have the daily price chart, and as we can see here, Tesla share prices are making an attempt to stabilize after falling to this somewhat dramatic low, coming in at $182. Of course, this was the price low that was generated during the August 5 trading session. And since then, we have started to bounce once again. And there are some relatively significant price levels near term that could be tested. And we will need to outline some of those price levels so that we can identify some profitable trading strategies for this stock going forward. So as things currently stand, the near-term high comes in at 228.22. This would be the price high that was posted during the August 20 trading session. And of course, this is still a bit below the July 31st high that was posted previously. So as things currently stand, we have not managed to retest prior resistance levels. And this is a bit of a concern here, given the fact that share prices are currently trading under a bit of selling pressure. As things stand at the moment, for the most part, the stock has managed to break above its exponential moving average cluster, but the upside price movement from here has been a bit lackluster. As we can see in the past, Tesla share prices have really managed to obey price action as it relates to this exponential moving average cluster. We can point to one example here where share prices really did find a tremendous amount of resistance coming in at the 20-day exponential moving average. In this case, share prices were not able to break above 234.70. So we weren't even able to break above the 235 mark. And the major line in the sand here, the major barrier here really was this yellow oscillating line here, which is the 20-day exponential moving average. As I've said in other videos, any instances where you're seeing share prices move into the exponential moving average cluster, and that would be the case here. Anytime you're seeing a move like that, it is often quite difficult for share prices to develop a trend and to break out of the exponential moving average cluster. So that can often represent a period of indecision. And we're not quite seeing that at the moment because we have seen some movements outside of these exponential moving averages. However, what we have to note here is the fact that share prices are currently oscillating around this band at the moment. So we're not really seeing a decisive break in either direction. We did start to see some support that developed near 182, and at that point, share prices had deviated quite a bit from the 100-day and 200-day EMAs. So it was not totally surprising to see that share prices needed to sort of bounce a bit here, revert to the mean, and move back toward the longer-term averages. But as this occurred, any movements to the top side were quite limited. As I said, we did post this high right around 228, but for the most part, share prices have not been able to make a massive breakout higher, even in situations where share prices have been able to rise above all of these exponential moving averages. So as things currently stand, what we should do at this point really is take a look at the indicator reading because this does have some interesting developments here that might not be completely obvious or apparent for anybody that's looking at the price action itself. So as we can see here, we do have a fairly strong upward trend in the momentum reading on the relative strength index. The reason that I say that this is such a strong trend is one, we have a very solid upward slope here. This really isn't like a sort of a flatlining or a weak uptrend. This is a fairly strong uptrend. And then in addition to that, this is an uptrend that has been tested on 3 separate occasions if we're looking at the daily indicator reading for the relative strength index. In addition to that, we also have the RSI moving above its own exponential moving average. So I'll just quickly explain that. The purple line here is the relative strength index, and then this yellow line here is the exponential moving average of the relative strength index. So in cases where you see the RSI moving above its own exponential moving average, that is a bullish signal, and that does suggest that upward trend momentum is increasing, or at least strong enough to sustain itself. So there are several readings in the indicator itself, which do suggest that share prices do involve a fair amount of underlying bullish momentum, even though this might not be so readily apparent on the price chart itself. In many cases, the indicator reading is actually given more importance than share prices, and I understand that that might be a little bit difficult to believe for anybody that has an active position in a stock. The reason that this is often said is due to the fact that readings in the indicator will often work as a precursor to later moves in share prices themselves. So in other words, we could see something like a bullish divergence in share prices in the indicator reading, but not yet in the share price. And then share price activity is something that might develop later. So what we're seeing here is the type of scenario where that type of event could start to occur. We are seeing a fairly strong upward trend momentum here, and as long as I'll just kind of zoom in on this one more time here, as long as this upward trend line here does not break, and it could. I mean, we are, the RSI is starting to threaten its own exponential moving average. So if we did see a break below there and then a break below the trend line as well, that would be an indicator of bearish price movement. We're obviously not there yet. The RSI is still trading above its EMA, and this trend line here has remained intact. So we're not quite to the point where we see a break in that underlying momentum trend. So as things currently stand, there is evidence here to believe that there is actually more bullishness in this stock than might be readily apparent when looking at share prices themselves. So currently what I would need to see to the top side in order to really sort of take pressure off of the bearish side of the market would be a break above this 235 mark. One reason that I point to this area would be due to the fact that we also saw a fairly significant price gap that started to develop in this area. So if we could break above 235, we'd almost be getting like some free momentum because that price gap would need to be filled. There are a lot of price orders that are going to be resting in that area, and price gaps generally need to be filled once share prices enter back into those areas. So if we were able to break convincingly above this 235 mark, we would probably need to see this price gap filled, and then that could ultimately send share prices back toward at least above the 245 level. So that would be a little bit of a kickstart possibly for the stock to move higher. To the downside, I do think that there would be a bit of concern here if we did start to see share prices move below 211. This is a point of near-term support. And if we did break below here, the risk would be for the stock itself to move below its 100 period and 200 period exponential moving averages. So here's the current market update for Tesla Incorporated, stock ticker TSLA. Our high value trading strategies membership is currently available for a limited time for only $9.99 per month. These high conviction investment strategies are characterized by superior risk to reward metrics that target massive market beating returns over time. Join now to outperform the market, lock in this special introductory rate of just $9.99 per month for the entire lifetime of your membership, and start trading stocks with the pros.